breaking news right now. So the Associated Press and Fox News are both calling Alaska for President Trump, and Democrats Republican Dan Sullivan wins re-election in the U.S. Senate from Alaska. So a lot going on up in that state today. Emily, I come to you with this breaking news. So we were just talking. This brings Republicans to 50. And so this really comes down to the wire now. And Republican Dan Sullivan winning re-election to the U.S. Senate from Alaska. Your initial reaction to that?
That there is likely a collective sigh of relief being breathed by the GOP right now for that exact reason that we were just discussing. And as we sort of move into the Georgia runoff race in January, this underscores just how important and crucial it is to nationalize it, and really that the Republican backstop against a Biden policy and the Biden administration is more important than moving into Georgia than those individual Senate races are. Obviously, the outcome of Alaska, both electorally and on that Senate micro race, those were expected. So I think while this is one more step in the right direction for the GOP, it's not a surprise per se, but it really hammers home the fact that all of those GOP candidates that are making their way to Georgia, first of all, many of them are already sort of have made no secret of their GOP candidacy for president in 2024, but this also illustrates how important it is for the party and their standing within it. And a quick final point on terms of the drilling down of why it's so important for voter turnout in these runoff races and in these Senate races. There are, I would think you would be hard-pressed to find any conservative who was a never-Trumper or who disliked Trump and yet is willing to hand over the keys to the Senate to the Democrats. If that were the case, they would not be a true conservative. And last time I checked, Georgia still is a conservative state. So keeping that sort of global bird's-eye vision in mind for these races, that's the hammering home that these guys will continue to have to do to make sure that people turn out, again, to support that Republican backstop.
All right. So, Kennedy, I come back to you with this. What are the issues? And we know this is Joey's home state, and we understand that he knows that landscape. But what are the national issues that you understand that Democrats really want to push in that state? I mean, Joey mentioned Stacey Abrams, who formerly ran for governor and didn't win, she's galvanized that state. She gets a whole lot of credit for doing that.
She has, but the Republicans still get the edge here. As you know, Dave Perdue got more votes than Jon Ossoff in that Senate race, but in Georgia you have to have 50% plus one. They also ran against Shane Hazel, who was a Libertarian candidate. And who knows who Shane took votes from, but he said, your tears are delicious. And he did not mind being the spoiler. He will not be part of that January runoff, which gives Dave Perdue arguably the edge there. And as you know, Kelly Loeffler was running against 20-some Republicans, and she still got many more votes than her Republican counterparts, including Doug Collins, former U.S. congressman who ran against her for that Senate seat and lost. He conceded. And so now she's only going to be running against one other person, and that's Democrat Raphael Warnock, who is a preacher from MLK's church. And he's a very popular figure. And she'll have a race on her hands, but she still has the edge given the makeup of that jungle primary.
All right. I want to get this in, and then, Molly, I come to you with this. So also in all of the news today, the breaking news, President Trump has won Alaska. 75% of the expected ballots tallied. The president led with nearly 57% of the vote there compared to 39% for now President-elect Joe Biden. I'm more curious than ever about the politics of Alaska. It is home to former Republican Governor Sarah Palin. Is it staying true to itself, or do you see something different there?
Well, so interesting, because Alaska was one of those states where we were told that they would have a very tight Senate race just a couple weeks ago. It was 538, I think, that said that this could be very tight. And looking at those margins right now, it's a 20-point win for the Republican candidate. Alaska tends to be a very independent state, a libertarian-leaning conservative state, and so these results are not surprising. A little bit interesting that it's taken so long to call the state given these high margins, and people, I think, are wondering why some states get called so quickly that are coming down to the wire, and other states we're finding out a week later Trump won overwhelmingly. But it does speak to something that, in general, this election was very good for Republicans. Donald Trump, unlike, Jimmy Carter or Barack Obama when they ran for re-election, actually gained many, many new voters, millions, like nearly 9 million or something like that at this point, of new voters. This led to surprising victories in the House, these coattails that enabled the Republicans to be within striking distance of taking back the House. This was supposed to be a blue wave election, we were told, according to these polls. The Senate was going to go Democrat very strongly. It didn't. It hasn't, or at least it hasn't yet with these Georgia runoffs. And so this is why Republicans seem more unified than ever. They're invigorated. They have a more multiracial working class party, and you're seeing Democrats just fighting with each other between their progressive caucus and the more old leadership. They're bitter. They're angry about how things went on Tuesday, and there are reasons for that.
Interesting. Joey, I come back to you. Alaska just has 3 electoral votes. But, you and Kennedy have both said today about having faith and trust in the voting system. President Trump picks up another win. We're 8 days out. And people are watching this, and they're saying, 3 electoral votes are what kind of impact? I come to you for that.
It all matters if President Trump's campaign team and legal team are able to find enough fraud to flip an important state or two, like Pennsylvania or Nevada or Georgia. That's what it really comes down to. We pretty much knew President Trump had won Alaska. Now it's finally called. Really what it comes down to is, as it sits today, Vice President Biden has the electoral votes to be the president-elect once it's certified. But what's really important here is we need to know that the results are actual results of what we voted for. We need to know that mail-in voting in mass didn't turn into in-mass fraud. And those questions are okay to ask while also calling Vice President Biden president-elect until something shows up to change that. These aren't two opposite narratives. This is where we are. And I think that the visceral reaction I see on Twitter and other places is because people feel cheated. And it doesn't matter if they were or not. It's worth looking into because up to 70 million people in this country do feel that way.